And today's mindful message is possibility thinking, the C-suite skill. So I used to think I was strange. I thought that nobody beat themselves up the way that I did, that nobody was running conversations over and over again in their head. It was too emotional, too deep, too sensitive, probably overshared and made people really uncomfortable. Have you ever felt this way? So eventually I realized, no, these things are actually way more common than you would think. So much of them have to do with how our brains work. And learning that for me created a lot of ease. But then I did the complete opposite when it came to my gifts. Everybody can obviously do them. I'm not special. Everyone can hold space and make people feel seen, heard, and understood. Everyone thoughtfully chooses their words to make sure that others feel safe. Everyone can think possibility in spaces of conundrums. Everyone can do these things. And isn't that interesting that we latch on to this negative part? Now, both sides, I felt bad about feeling alone in the things I was suffering through, and I felt bad about not feeling special in the things that I was good at. So we're just latching on to this negative. And it's interesting, yet it's also part of how we're wired. So that negativity bias has us attracting to the bad pieces of things. And we do that as the survival skill because we're perceiving threats and we're trying to survive. And that's simple biology. So our stress hormones, cortisol, are being released. And then they're taking over like a drunk at karaoke. And so I'm curious, have you ever been asked, what are your strengths? What are your gifts? What makes you special? Why should I hire you above somebody else? What makes you different from your competitors? All the different ways. And this space is what happens to me every single time. I don't know about you. But you can go into then the survival of what does make me special? Nothing, right? Total freeze. I have nothing to say. Or I can do this and someone else probably does it better. I probably have a lot to learn. So maybe you're fighting through even sharing your skill. And we as women are not even supposed to share skills. So as you're showing up, being asked this question, you're wondering, what do I have to give? What is that? Can I show up in this way? And I know that's something for me that has me stuck quite often, especially in those low moments or on a call with, you know, an expert who likes to point out problems. You have no gifts when you're pointing out problems. So I have spoken to at least 70 different people over the past month, and not including email. And what I've learned in these conversations is we could all really use more possibility thinking. So that's what I'm bringing here today, because that is one of my gifts. As you know, we think differently here. When people come and they can't use their titles, they can't talk about business, they show up going, well, what does that mean? Why do I do that? We build relationships. We build real relationships. Because you do business, you give referrals with people you know, like, and trust. You fangirl out over them. So that's what we want here. I had a conversation with a colleague of mine this past month, and she mentioned how she went to a high net worth networking event. And one thing that surprised her was that their rule of engagement was no business cards, no talking about business. How interesting. And she was so amazed by that and she loved it. And she said, that makes so much sense. You're building relationships. That's what you do. And I said, huh, that's what I do in the She Suite Connector. Cool. I used to think that the way I approach things was strange. And oftentimes I actually felt really stupid. Maybe this doesn't make any sense. But what I've learned throughout the years is that oftentimes these rules that might feel counterintuitive, these things that I'm bringing to the table are actually what C-suite executives and billionaires are doing. It's the way they're thinking. And so we're going to practice that because that's exciting and that's what you deserve. And these are the things we didn't learn that we often don't have access to. So here's how we're going to do it. Well, first of all, you know me, you know it's all going to come down to mindfulness, and that's where it starts. We have to be able to create calm in our nervous system. And what I'll tell you is very simply, when I ask you a question and you're going to think of the answer, and then you're just going to start to think, but how? How stops innovation. Okay, how stops dreaming, how stops possibility. We will get to how, but that's not the way you start. That's what stops you. Okay? And when you focus on creating that calm within you, it allows that space for possibility. So, to do that, I would love to invite all of you to settle in, close your eyes, and do a little bit of mindfulness with me. Okay, so take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, 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 all the way down to your pelvic floor. Breathe out. Take another deep breath in like that. Deep, 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 and breathe out. And now keep that deep, luxurious breath going. Focus on that, just the in and out. And while you're doing that, I want you to picture this liquid gold coming from the crown of your head, so right above your head, and it's just pouring into you, not over you, not making your hair sticky, not getting on your clothes, into you. I picture mine sparkly, and it is going into your brain, throughout your face, relaxing you, filling you up with excitement. This liquid gold is going down into your throat, soothing you, empowering you. It's spreading out throughout your shoulders, down your arms, into your palms, all the way down to your fingertips. It's full of success and abundance. Keep that deep breathing as the gold goes into your heart, opens it up, ready to receive. Picture that beautiful gold going down into your stomach and then to your pelvic floor. But at your pelvic floor, there is a pot, literal pot of gold. It is catching the gold. It is catching all of that liquid that continues to pour. But guess what? It's overflowing. So this wealth, this abundance, this possibility, this success, this excitement, this safety, it is overflowing down into your legs, to your feet, down into the ground, creating even more safety for you, even more steadiness. So it is continuing to pour through the crown of your head, and it's continuing to overflow into your body, into the ground, filling you up, never stopping, and allowing beautiful motion. So feel what that feels like. Give yourself a little wiggle of excitement whenever you're ready. And open your eyes. And I want you to take a minute, think about this, and maybe write it down. What is one thing you want for your life that would give you all the feels? Take a minute and do that. I always like to give you a little something, and I am going to put this in the chat later, but we're going to have a possibility party available for you. So you can book some time with me and we will play. We'll spend 30 minutes playing through possibilities for you so that we are breaking down the how, getting it out of the room, taking off the guardrails, and just going big into possibility.